Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome to class. Whew. So which one am I using today? This or this? Anyways, welcome to class. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I know I did. I slept a little, I rested. And happy new month to every one of us. May the month of May be a productive month for us. Yeah, I'm happy it's the 5th month. But I have a feeling this year is running very fast. And I really don't want it to go fast. I want us to remain in the month of May for like 3 months. Like, May should be 90 days instead of 30 days. But we don't have a choice. Every day keeps going. So, my little advice for you is maximize every single day, every single minute. The only currency you have is time. I know people say time is money, but it's actually maximized time that is money. Yeah, so not just the fact that you have time. Even a poor man has time, everybody has time. So you can't, anything that is not valuable, you can't really call it. So even the poor person has time, but it's the one that maximized time that can begin to exchange that maximized time with your money, with my money. So that's my that's for me. So yes, welcome to Math with Isaiah. Yeah, I think it was last year I did a little research. I wanted to know how exactly to pronounce my name. Is it Isaiah or Isaiah? So I found out it's Isaiah actually, and to me I like it. It's more beautiful. So Math with Isaiah. I went through the last video and I found out there was no audio to it. Honestly, it broke my heart. So I decided I was going to do more like a recap on it. Yeah. So quadratic equations. Yeah, so like I said in the last class, give me a second. Yeah, so like I said in the last class, there are 4 main methods of solving this big guy here. I don't think there's any past question, either for WAEC or JAMB, that you pick up that you would not see this there. No. There's always going to be quadratic equations, there's always going to be this there. So there is the first method of solving quadratic equation, which is factorization method. Factorization method. The second method is formula method. Formula method. And if you don't mind, you can help me share the link so you can get other people to join. Now, the second method is formula method. I'm sure you've heard of something called almighty formula. Yeah, this is almighty formula. This is what they call it. Then 3, we have completing the square method. Completing the square. And then finally, we have graphical method. Now, we're not going to be doing this because this is a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress. Now, it's just like saying, what's a very good illustration I can give you, for instance? Okay, it's just like saying, instead of going through the front door of your house, which is the easiest, you want to go take another route, take the roundabout so you can appear at the back gate of your house. That's what this is. It's too stressful and nobody really demands it from you. So these are the 2 main formulas and these are the 3 methods we're going to be facing. Now, for factorization method, in the previous class I explained that we have a number of equations. We have linear equations, we have quadratic equations, we have polynomial equations. This is an example of a linear equation. X minus 5 equals 2. Why is that? Because the highest power of index of the unknown is 1. This is a quadratic equation. Why? The highest power of the index of the unknown is 2. This is a polynomial. Why is that? Anything above 2. If you have 4, 5, 6, 7, you're already talking about a polynomial equation. So, for today, we will be dealing with quadratic equation. Now, I'm going to have to go through all of it. I did it in the last class, but there was no audio to it, so I'm going to have to go by it again. But I'm going to rush everything, all the 3 methods today. Now, the first method, which is factorization method. Now, the example I gave in the last class was, now we're solving using factorization method. Now, I gave this example. You have x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. Now, this is a quadratic equation, right? Now, one of the first things you need to know is that whenever you want to solve a quadratic equation, you need to check the coefficient of x squared. Now, x is the unknown, meaning we're looking for x, right? So you need to find the coefficient of x squared. Here, the coefficient here is 1. What coefficient means is, if you have 2x, for instance, the coefficient of x is 2. So the number that is directly beside that number, coefficient of x is minus 8. So, the coefficient here is 1. And here, we call this constant. That's what we call it, constant. So now, when you want to solve using factorization method, the first thing you do is you multiply the coefficient here by the constant. So we have 1 here. Multiply it by minus 9. What you have is minus 9, right? Now, once you've gotten here, the next thing to do is now, that's where this comes in, factor. Now you're looking for the factors of 9. We're looking for 2 numbers. And when we multiply them together, we will get this. And when we add those same 2 numbers together, we will get this. And that's where the struggle comes in. The struggle. Alright, so what are the 2 numbers that we're looking for? 1, 9, 3 again. These are the factors of 9, am I right? If you multiply them, you definitely get this. Is there any other one? 4, 5, no. 6, no. So it's just these 2. Now 1 multiplied by 9 is not minus 9. Why is that? Now let's add minus here. Now 1 multiplied by minus 9 is minus 9. Now let's add this together. 1 minus 9, you have minus 8. So that tells you this is what we're using, because we can't use this. If you add this together, you won't get anything close to 8. So that means we're going to use these 2 numbers. So you add the unknown to them. So now you replace this guy with these guys. So you have something like this. Alright, so you have something like this. My hands are paining me. Alright, so you have this. X squared plus x minus 9x minus 9 equals 0. Then you add this. Anywhere you see this, you have substituted it with the factors. Now once you get here, the next thing to do is factorize, like we did in the previous topic, factorizing and expansion. Now what is common here? You're factorizing these 2, you're factorizing these 2. So what's common here? X is here, X is here, you're picking 1. How many X is left here? Just 1. So you have X. How many X is left? Nothing, so it's just 1. Right? You're factorizing this. What's common? Minus 9 is common in both places. What's going to be left? X. What's going to be left? Just plus 1. Right? Equals 0. Now I said in the last slide that there was no audio. Whenever you get here, whatever is in this bracket must always be the same. If it's not the same, go back and start again because you're already wrong. So now what do you do here? You merge these 2 together and then you pick one of the brackets. So x minus 9, put it in the bracket. Pick 1, x plus 1 equals 0. Now this is how you do this. Then what do you do next? You now equate all of it to 0. You already know. So you have x minus 9 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. Because these 2 are equals 0. So this equals 0. This equals 0. Bring this out. You have x equals 9. X equals minus 1. Now this is how you solve a quadratic equation using factorization method. The first thing you do, multiply these 2, get this number. The second thing you do, look for the factors. Now when you multiply them together, you get this. When you add them together, you get this. Then know how you're going to share your symbols, either minus, plus. You're going to have to find your way around that. Once you get your two factors, substitute it for this. Then factorize. Merge these two. Take one of the brackets, then equate to 0, and you're done. That's how you solve a quadratic equation using factorization method. And if you check through and you don't understand, leave it in the comment section. If there's anything you don't understand, leave it there. I might just explain in the next class. That's tomorrow. So yeah, let's do one more example, then we move to formula method, because these things are not hard at all. Then it's just quadratic equation. It's not hard at all. So second example, I'm going to try to use the examples I used in the last class, so you can go back to the video and be able to understand. Alright, this was the question. So here, instead of x, they use p. P squared minus 10p plus 25 equals 0. Same thing. Coefficient here is 1. What do? Multiply by 25. 25. What are the two numbers? When you multiply them, you get 25. When you add them, you get 10. So what's the number? There's 1, there's 25, there's 5 and 5. What else? I'm sure you already seen it. The moment you saw 5 and 5, you already saw 10 inside of it, right? So this already tells you that, okay, we're getting close. So now, there are no other factors. It can't be 1 and 25 because if you add them, you can't get 10. So it has to be this. When you add them together, you get this. But now, when you add 5 and 5, you have 10, not minus 10. So what do? You know how to split your symbols. Now, minus 5 is minus 10. And when you multiply them together, minus times minus gives you plus 25. So that means these are the factors we're using. So you should add your p here, add your p here. So what do you have? Now substitute it for this. So you have p squared minus 5p 5p plus 25 equals 0. Am I right? Now we're going to factorize. P into brackets. P is common, right? You pick one. What's going to be left? P. What's going to be left here? 5. Factorize this 2. Minus 5 is common. What's going to be left here? P. What's going to be left? Minus 5 equals 0. You see again, they must always be the same. If what is in the bracket is not the same, go and start again. Then now you merge these two together. P minus 5. Pick one of the brackets, P minus 5. Then equate it to 0. P minus 5 equals 0. P minus 5 equals 0. Then P equals 5. P equals 5. So P is 5 twice. That's how you solve this. It's as simple as that. The first thing you do, like I said, multiply. Get this. Look for your two factors. When you multiply them together, you get this. When you add them together, you get this. Once that is done, substitute your factors for this middle guy here. Then you factorize. Once you factorize, merge these two together, pick one of the brackets, and you have your answer. So I'll give you like a few seconds to digest that. Give me 1 second. Alright, so we are gonna be moving forward now. So now we're gonna go to formula method very quickly. Formula method. Now, formula method. Sometimes they call it quadratic formula, sometimes they call it almighty formula. It's just one big formula. Formula. Now, formula method. Now, this is the formula. It's just one big formula. And once you can get it, you're good. Now, this is the formula. the unknown equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is the formula. Now let me explain. The other time I gave you an equation, x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. Now I'm going to write something. Now this is the general expression of a quadratic equation. This is the general expression of a quadratic equation. What that means is, for a quadratic equation, there must always be an unknown that has the power of 2. It must have a coefficient. There must be an unknown. You must have with the power of 1, you must have a coefficient, and then there must be a constant c. This is, once you see this, you know you have a quadratic equation. Now, if you look at this now, you will tell me that a is 1, right? If you equate this, a is 1, b minus b is minus 8. That means b is 8. Now, c, sorry, this is supposed to be plus, sorry. This is the general formula, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now, b is minus 8, c is minus 9. Now this, once you can get this, you can get your a, your b, your c, and you can come and solve it here. So anywhere you see b, you just put in your b. Anywhere you see b, you put in b, a as well and all of that, and you can get your answer. Now let's quickly solve this question using this formula. Now, let's do this. So now what is a? A is 1. What's b? B is minus 8, right? What's c? C is minus 9. So now let's put all of it here. So we have x equals minus, what is b? Minus 8. You use bracket here. Because we already have minus here, and the b is already a negative number. So you're going to have to use brackets here. Minus 8. Do your plus or minus. Square root. What's your b? B is minus 8 again. You use your bracket. Minus b squared. Then minus again. 4. What's your a? A is 1. What's your c? C is minus 9. Over 2. What's your a? 1. What next? Minus times minus plus. That means you have 8 plus or minus square root of minus 8 squared. That's minus 8 times minus 8. You have 64. And minus times minus you have plus. 4 times 9 you have 36. That's plus 36. Over 2 times 1 you have 2. Now this is 8 plus or minus square root of 64 plus 36 is 100. Now what's the square root of 100? That's 10. So don't need to stress yourself. 10. That's why I said you need to be fast mentally. Over 2. So now what do you have next? The answer is 8 plus 10 over 2, or 8 minus 10 over 2. Am I right? 8 plus 10 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 8 minus 10 is minus 2. Minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1. And you see we got the same answer that we got when we used factorization method. So yeah, that means this is the formula. So if you can master this formula in your head, x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. If you can have that in your head, you're good. Just find your a, find your b, find your c, put them in, and you're done. And that's how you solve using this. I don't think I need to stress this further. If you want me to, then just let me know. But okay, let me do one more example. Just one more. Do I need to? It's really not hard. Find your A, your B, your C, substitute it, and you're good. Okay? So let's quickly move to completing the square method. Completing the square method. The video will definitely be online, so you can go back to watch it. Completing the square method. Completing the square method. Now, completing the square method. Now, completing the square method. This one is a little tricky. A little. And this is how you do it. Let's use that same example. X squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. I hope you would have noticed that I like this quadratic equation. The reason is because I think it was 2016. This is what my teacher in secondary school used to explain. This equation never left my head since 2016. This is 2026. 10 years ago, and I still cannot forget this equation. Like I know it any day, anytime. Now, okay, so now let's look at this. Completing the square method. Now the first thing you do when you want to solve using completing the square method is the constant has to be moved out. This is what I mean. X squared minus 8x equals 9. You need to move this guy outside. This is your first step. Now your second step, you need to ensure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So that means if you have 2x here, you divide everything by 2. If you have 3x, divide everything by 3, so that this can remain only x squared. But now that we don't have anything, you don't have to do anything. The coefficient here is 1 already. Now your next step is, you have to multiply the coefficient of x with half and raise it to the power of 2. Let me see if I can type that. Add minus 8 times half raised to the power 2 to both sides. Now what that means is, this is the coefficient of x. So whatever is the coefficient of x, multiply it by half and then square everything and then add it to both sides. So that's, you will have this x squared minus 8x plus, let's multiply this. This is 4. So you're having minus 4 raised to the power 2 equals 9 plus minus 4 raised to the power 2. Now, the next step is this. Is this minus? Yeah, this minus. Now, what's the next step? So you are multiplying this by, multiply this by half, raise to the power of 2, and then add it to both sides. Now, what do you have here? Now, because of we generated this from this, we don't need this anymore. This is going to be merged together. So you'll be having x minus 4 all raised to power 2. I hope you're seeing where I'm going here. We generated this from this, so now we don't need it anymore. So just merge these two together and displace this. So this minus this, they will not fall under the same bracket now. Equals 9 plus 4 raised to power 2, that's 16, right? Now, we want to take away this bracket, so you have to take the square root of both sides. So you're going to have this x minus 4 all raised to power 2 equals 9 plus 16, that's 25, the square root of 25. Now, this cancels out this. So you have x minus 4 equals, once you do this, once you take the square root of both sides, you're going to be having two answers. So you need your plus or minus. Plus or minus, square root of 25 is 5, right? Now x equals, bring this and put it inside here, equals 4. When this one comes here, it becomes positive, right? 4 plus or minus 5. So now that means x is 4 plus 5 or 4 minus 5. 4 plus 5 is what? 9. 4 minus 5 is what? Minus 1. So you can see that's actually how you do it. You can actually solve quadratic equation using any of the methods you like. Either factorization method. Now let's try to use our head to see everything. Factorization method, what's the first step? You multiply the coefficient and the constant. They give you a number. You find two numbers that once you multiply them, they give you the number you just got. And when you add them, they give you that number in the middle. Are you getting it? Once you find your two factors, you substitute them for that middle number. You need to be able to do it in your head. Substitute them for that middle number, then you factorize, then you merge, pick one of the numbers in the brackets, equate, and you get your answer. For formula method, just know the formula. Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Once you can do that, get your a, your b, your c, substitute it individually, and you have your answer. So if you want me to do a short video on that, I can quickly do that. But for now, this is where I'm going to stop, because I do not want the video to be too long. Now, so for completing the square method, the first thing is throw this guy outside. Make sure he's out of the picture. Ensure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So if you're having 2x or whatever, divide all through by that number so that you can have one here. Then multiply it by half. If you don't want to call it multiplied by half, you can just say divide this guy by 2. Divide the coefficient of x by 2 and square it and add it to both sides. So what does that mean? This divided by 2, which is what? Minus 4. We are adding minus 4 raised power 2 to both sides, which is what we did here. We are adding it to both sides. Then now we got this from this, so displace this, merge these two together under the same umbrella of this square because they both have this. It's under binomial expansion, but you can let's do that alone. But now then the same thing here. Get your number, take the square root of both sides, and solve for your answer. It's as simple as that. So what do we have tomorrow? I think tomorrow is just going to be like a recap of everything we've done from day 1 to day 6. So yeah, if you do have any questions, just put it in the comment section. I will definitely attend to it. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. I will see you tomorrow.